I was going down from the mountain, just in awe at what just happened to me. And the voice comes. He says, my son, go get our bike. He said,
Our bike.
Go get our bike. Not
Wow.
your bike, because this is not, so it wasn't just about me.
Jesus told this dude to go get a bike, okay?
He says, go get our bike.
Wow.
And Steve, I just broke down. I just broke down right there at the foot of the mountain.
He's literally crying because Jesus told him to go get a bike. Okay, go on.
Broke down. Go get our bike? What, Lord, go get our bike? Yes.
Man.
And when the Lord directed me to the bike.
I mean, I know what you're thinking, right? You're thinking to yourself, this guy was instructed by the Lord to go get a bicycle to go spread the word door to door, right? That's so touching. That's so heartfelt. I love that. Keep listening.
Directed me to the bike. It's a BMW.
Oh, so not a bicycle then. Okay.
He was there from the whole process of purchasing it. And when he rode on that bike, I thought the mountain experience was great. And then when he rode on the bike, on the back of that bike with me.
Jesus rode the back of the motorcycle with this guy, with this supposed prophet of God, Manuel Johnson.
Oh my gosh, that was a greater opportunity, and I've said this before. It was a greater opportunity than my visitations to heaven.
Dude, this is then my visitations to heaven. This is painful. It's painful. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so this is Manuel Johnson. He is a prophet, supposed prophet of God, claims to be. Anyways, you know, he's a televangelist. He's got a church of his own, like a mega church type of deal. Mega Praise Ministries is what it's called. And he's absurd. Obviously, he was literally crying because he claimed Jesus instructed him to go buy a new BMW motorcycle so they could ride it around together. Really. It's just painful. It is so stupid. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. So anyways, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I got a voicemail about it. Somebody called in, and I wanted to see what these guys had to say about it. So let's listen to this voicemail.
Hey, Owen, guy from Brooklyn, Illinois. I love your YouTube clip, supposed prophet. God told me to buy a BMW. And the funny thing is, when he's talking, first of all, the guy's an idiot because he doesn't even understand. He's going instead of popularity, I think he said what popularized, and instead of again some other word, he completely screwed up. And he still.
Oh yeah, he messes up words a lot, like way more than anybody honestly should. But okay.
Some other word, he completely screwed up, and he still was mispronouncing it. And he's this Kelsey O'Malley that's interviewing him when she.
So Kelsey O'Malley stands in for Steve Schultz, who is the other guy in the clip there. So on the left, this is Steve Schultz on the left here. Sometimes Kelsey O'Malley sits in, and Manuel Johnson's been on a bunch of stuff with Kelsey O'Malley too. So that's what Guy is referring to.
He completely screwed up, and he still was mispronouncing it. And he's this Kelsey O'Malley that's interviewing him when she goes, "Wow," what she means is, "Wow, I can't believe there's somebody even more deranged than me." Because we all know, R.I.P. GOP 2023. I think these two might lead the charge. The flat earther is going to be deposed. These two are going to be the new leaders.
Yeah, fair enough. That could be. That's it. Guy. Okay, so Guy Young calls in all the time, right? From Brookfield, Illinois. Is it Brookfield or Brookville? I don't remember. He sounded a little sick in that one. I just want to make sure you're doing okay, Guy. Manuel Johnson is an absolutely absurd human being, obviously, based on the clip that I showed you at the very beginning. But he has a megachurch. People believe him. They listen to him. At the end, you heard Guy Young mention the flat earther thing.
I think these two might lead the charge. The flat earther is going to be deposed.
Yeah, this is deep lore, dude. This guy watches a lot of stuff. I love talking about these crazies, dude. It is so deeply entertaining to me, honestly. So we just talked about Manuel Johnson, megachurch leader, telling us that Jesus instructed him to buy a BMW motorcycle and then rode it around with him on the back, honestly. You think Jesus rides on the back? No. Jesus rides front. When I was a kid, there's a very specific name for that back seat on a motorcycle. I'm not going to say it right now, but anybody who grew up in the 90s knows it. Anyways, they're just absurd human beings, all of them. Jesus would not take that seat. He would take the front seat, okay? If I know anything about Jesus, and I know a lot about the dude, if I do say so myself. Well, Guy Young mentioned the wah, flat earther person. This is her right here, Candace Taylor. I just want to give you context for this because it's so deeply entertaining. Like, all of these people are so ridiculous. She is a far-right nutcase who ran for governor in Georgia, got like 3% of the vote, if that, or something, and then claimed that the election was rigged against her by Republicans. Republicans rigged the Republican primary against Candace Taylor. So anyways, she's kind of making a splash right now, trying to grab attention and everything else. And she went on this Flat Earthers show to talk about the flat earth and how super real the flat earth is.
I've never said the earth was flat.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, this is the rebuttal. This is the one where she talks about the earth being flat. Sorry. She had to come out and say, I never said the earth was flat. I never said it, even though she absolutely most definitely did say it. Okay, here, this is the original, I think.
More and more, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So is it or not? I don't know 100%, but it's just, it doesn't make sense the other way. Now that you see it.
The people that defend the globe don't know anything about the globe because
yeah, they're called globe heads, dummies.
They knew a tenth of what Matt and I know about the globe, they would be flat earthers because
if they knew a tenth, okay, a tenth, you don't know a tenth what they know about the globe. You globe heads.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I can't unsee this. All the globes everywhere. I turn on TV. There's globes in the background. There's globes on there right here. Like this would be a globe if I was.
It's propaganda. It's propaganda. They're propagandizing to us. That's what it is. It's making sense. All clicking into place now. You see globes everywhere because they're trying to convince you to be a globe head. All the airline pilots, the telescope manufacturers, the globe manufacturers, they're all in cahoots together to convince you to be a globe head. This is connecting now. Big globe. The big globe industry is out to get us, and we need to be careful.
Globes on there right here. Like this would be a globe if I was a normal person.
She seems to acknowledge she's not a normal person. Okay.
Like everywhere there's globes. You see them all the time. I mean, it's constant. My children will be like, Mama, globe, 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 globe. They're everywhere. And that's what they do to brainwash. And so for me, if it is not a conspiracy, if it is, real, why are you pushing so hard? Everywhere I go, every store, you buy a globe. There's globes everywhere. Every movie, every TV show.
Every movie and TV show has a globe in it? I'm sorry. I don't remember that happening.
Where every movie, every TV show, news media, why?
That's what Guy Young was talking about right there. That was it.
News media, why?
Why? Love it, dude. Love it. Thank you for that reminder, Guy Young. I appreciate that. Oh, God, it's just so cringy. And we got a flatearthdave.com little deal going on here. Let's see if we can. Oh, okay, here we go. Flatearthdave.com. It's just loading slowly. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Welcome to the Flat Earth Podcast and the home of flatearthdave.com. Friend finder live counter 109,000. I assume this is basically saying 109,000 subbies, right? Is that what he's implying? Origins, untold, ancient cosmology. Why? Why are there globes everywhere? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Thank you, Guy Young, for that reminder.
The why flat earther is going to be deposed. These two.
Oh, it's so stupid, dude. It's so stupid. God. Anyway, thank you for the little trip down memory lane there, Guy Young. I appreciate that. God, it's just ridiculous, man. These people are ridiculous human beings. And I don't even know if they realize it. Do they know how ridiculous they are as human beings? I'm not convinced they do, truthfully.
Hey, Owen, this is David from Indiana, and I'll try to be as brief as I can. But I was just watching a Flashpoint episode, and they had Jim Caviezel on there, and, they're talking about Sound of Freedom, and...
Okay, so if you guys don't know, there are a few things listed there. So Flashpoint is a TV show on the Victory Network, which is like Kenneth Copeland's TV network. And it's a very, very pro-Trump TV show, Flashpoint is. It's just crazy, the things that they say on Flashpoint. It's nuts. And they had Jim Caviezel on, probably promoting his movie, Sound of Freedom. So Jim Caviezel is a QAnoner, an open, known QAnoner, who was also... famously, this is probably his most famous role. He played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, if you guys remember that movie back from the 2000s. I never saw it. I tried to get through it years later after I got older. It was forbidden for me to watch because it was improper theology. But it was in another language. Why would they do it in a different language? It was just terrible. Anyway, Jim Caviezel played Jesus, and it turns out he's a complete right-wing nutter butter. He's a QAnoner. So anyways, he made this right-wing QAnon movie called The Sound of Freedom that released on Independence Day 2023. And he went on Kenneth Copeland, of course, Kenneth Copeland's TV network, to promote it. That's what is being referenced here. So let's keep listening.
Freedom, and, how it's, bringing so much truth to the child trafficking problem, which I do admit is a problem. But my issue is, like, do they not realize that, the points, they're not providing any actual evidence for the problem? It's like, I want this issue solved as much as they do, but pointing fingers at this person or that person without any proof isn't helping. Like, how do they not understand that they're causing more harm than good? I just don't get it. Anyway, thank you for what you do. Sorry if I was babbling on a little bit, but all right, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Absolutely. So QAnon, if you are unfamiliar with how they got their rise, they famously hitched a ride on the hashtag Save the Children. That's how they really got famous, by putting hashtag Save the Children on the end of everything. They made a bunch of wild claims about child human trafficking. I think they claimed there are 400,000 children per year that are taken by human traffickers and put into the trafficking network or whatever. That's like 4 million kids a year, right? Except that number is completely inaccurate and incorrect. I think that statistic was given by, like, catching up with police stations, calling police stations, asking them what their count was for missing persons reports and things like that. So they added all of these things up, not even trying to follow up on the cases to see if they were closed because they found the kid or not. A lot of those cases that were reported of missing child, a lot of those cases were runaway kids who were in their late teens, who were in the CPS system or whatever, and then just left because it was even worse in the home that they came from originally. Or it was kids who wandered off at the mall for a minute, and the mom freaks out and calls the cops. The cops show up. They find him over at the ice cream shop. That's a police report that has to be written up, even though they found the kid. It's irrelevant. So there are 400,000 kids that were reported missing. It's a report. It doesn't talk about whether or not they were found again. So the whole premise that QAnon is building here is deeply flawed. The number is nowhere near 400,000 kids who go missing every year, in all seriousness, and are not found again. And generally speaking, kids that are sold into human trafficking, the way that QAnon believes is happening at this massively ridiculous rate, kids that are actually sold into human trafficking like that it's dramatically lower. It's really hard to have any idea what the number is, so I'm not even going to speculate, but I've looked into this heavily, and it is nowhere near 400,000 a year. And people who work on human trafficking, trying to stop it, have actually begged QAnon to stop flooding their lines with garbage, with nonsense. Calling in saying Nancy Pelosi's got a kid in their basement and all this other garbage. It's actually making things harder for them. False reports are screwing everything up. It is actually making the human trafficking problem worse for QAnon to be on the case, if you will, and claim that every politician from here to Texas is trafficking children or whatever. It's nonsense, all of it. But, you know, they build their brand off of that. That's how they got famous, so that's the thing that they're going to care the most about. Absurd and sad. How funny is it that they do not mention the massive ring of abusers with the Catholic Church? Google Marshall Maisel. Yeah, I don't know the name, but yeah, absolutely. Not just the Catholic Church. They never mention Andrew Tate. They're on his side, and he's an actual human trafficker. They never cared about human trafficking. They cared about getting more eyeballs on their posts. That's what it's always been about for QAnon.